And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You got the Pokemon Professor here, and today I'm bringing you my Week 6 team builder for the KCDL. This week we take on Coach Blakieee and their Squirtle squad, and as you can see on screen, dude's got a squad, right? He's got the Squirtle squad. Real threatening team. It's got Mewtwo, Iron Val, Meowscarada, Petulant, Fortress, Terra Keldeo, Electros, Terra Sandaconda, Magmar, and Munchlax. I mean, the first four and the sixth mon, crazy threats. But before we hop into what I think they are going to bring and what I'm bringing to try to counter it and yada yada yada, I do want to say that we are well on our way to 500 subs. In fact, at the time of recording this, your boys reached 400. So one time for the one time, right? Drop a sub, right? We're trying to get to 500. Drop a sub on your school account. Mom and dad, let them know. Say the professor's trying out here, Mom. But alas. Okay, looking at my opponent's team, truth be told, I think the first four and number six, first four, number six being Terra Keldeo, maybe Fortress, maybe Magmar, maybe Electros, maybe Terra Sandaconda. I'm not entirely for sure what the sixth mon is, but I think 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Terra Keldeo. Mewtwo, honestly, I'm thinking Choice Specs. I think that it's going to be some kind of crazy Psychic, Shadow Ball, Aura Sphere. If not Choice Specs, then I think it's going to be some kind of maybe bulky Citrus Berry, Nasty Plot, Recover. Or just some kind of like Colbur Berry or Cassie Berry for something like the Giratina Origin. Some kind of berry that allows them to get up the Nasty Plot and then just fire away. Mewtwo hits so hard. That's why I won't be surprised if I see Choice Specs either, because it does outrun everything on my side of the field naturally. So I could definitely see somebody wanting to take advantage of that. Yes, we have a T-Tar, but you make one right prediction with the Choice Specs Aura Sphere and T-Tar don't matter. T-Tar just don't matter. So definitely think that thing comes. Iron Val, I do expect it to come. It's an Iron Valiant. Probably booster speed, truth be told. I think that you could be a mixed set. I think you're going to have Shadow Sneak. Could be Vacuum Wave, right? Either or, if not both. It could be CC and or Moon Blast. I think you could go physical. I think you could go special. I think you could go mixed. But it comes. Meow, I definitely think some kind of heavy duty boots, spiker set. I think that spikes, knockoff, flower trick, U-turn, I think that's all four. I think it gives them great momentum, allows for some good hazards, trying to pressure that Zamazenta Crown from wanting to switch in, and just be an overall nuisance. Maybe Sucker Punch as well, trying to pick up a surprise KO on Excadrill or something like that. Petulant, it's got to come. I've got a Zamazenta Crown. So I definitely think that thing comes. I think it's going to be super bulky. I could see it being Black Sludge. I could see it being Colbur Berry. I could see it being heavy duty boots. And I think you are max bold with HP, defense, probably Nasty Plot, Recover, Shadow Ball, and Malignant Chain. I could see Malignant Chain not being the bring and then something like Parting Shot come. But I definitely see Shadow Ball. I do see Recover. And then, honestly, probably the Plot. And probably the Parting Shot, now that I'm thinking about it. Terra Keldeo, I expect to come. I know in the past that they have brought Terra Ice Keldeo, I believe. Or Terra Fighting, Terra Water, something like that. Really just hits everything for really super effective damage. I think that you're either going to be some kind of Terra Fairy, just to be a neutral kind of thing, maybe Terra Ghost as well. Trying to set up on the Zamazenta Crown. I could see something like whatever boosts the fighting move, right? Now, I don't want to say Pixie Plate, but like Fist Plate or something. Vacuum Wave, Aura Sphere, probably Flip Turn, and if you want to be about it, you throw on Hydro Pump. If you just want consistent damage, you throw on Surf. It could be Sub, trying to take advantage of the Alamomola if it wanted to. Electros, I could see coming because you have Levitate, so no weakness. I think if you are that, probably some kind of bulky AV set with like Drain Punch, Discharge, Knock Off, U-Turn, just to be disruptive. Could see Super Fang or whatever kind of half-hitting move it gets. Fortress, it's their only form of hazard control, so I wouldn't be too surprised if it came. Probably boots, explosion. Could see like some kind of Custat Berry explosion as well. Could see spikes, rocks, Gyro Ball, Bug Bite, you know, just the basic Fortress stuff. Terrace Anaconda could be a fun little bring that my opponent brings. If they do it, you hear that? If they do it, I'm an adult, I'm 30. I think Terra flies the bring. Being able to try to take advantage of something like the Excadrill, something like the T-Tar, and set up with coils or just try to get glares off, truth be told. It's pretty bulky on the defensive side, so one coil, maybe that's going to be your Terrafly with the Zamazenta Crown, hoping you can check it that way. Magmar, it's got Flame Body, so I do have to kind of keep an eye out for that with the Zamazenta Crown that I have. Don't really see Munchlax coming. I keep it a buck. So going into this, after we've talked about what they're bringing, or what I expect them to bring, the first one that I'm bringing this week is going to be my No Face, my Giratina Origin. So looking at No Face, I've got the Shadow Sneak, Pain Split, Aura Sphere, and Shadow Ball. I've got 96 in my defense, 124 in my special attack, 252 in my SPDEF, and then 36 in my speed with a Calm Nature. Calm Nature, what this does is allow me to take a hit from the Keldeo a little bit better, right? We're a ghost type, and I could be Terra-fighting. I think that's a very plausible thing, especially with Excadrill, Zamazenta, and T-Tar. Vacuum Wave hitting on that special side kind of nullifies the Zamazenta, just getting the most bang for your buck. So I want to be able to take something like the Icy Wind if you have it. I want to be able to not be as pressured by a special attacking Keldeo in that aspect, or a Choice Spec something. Also allows me to take stuff like the Shadow Ball from Petron a little bit easier, and the Moonblast from Iron Val. Special attack, I believe Aura Sphere is an Oko on Meowscarada. I can actually just go ahead and double check that, I guess. Or just take my word for it. just take my word for it. It was some kind of benchmark thing. Maybe it was a Fortress 2-hit KO, as long as I had a single thing of damage on it, right? So just believe me. And then defense, it allowed me to take the triple axle from Choice Scarf Meowscarada without any damage beforehand. So just overall really bulky. I like being able to go for the Pain Split. I really like Shadow Sneak this week because the Iron Val, I'm guessing booster speed. You either mixed or you're just straight up. If you're mixed, you could be minus defense nature. I know I'm minus attack nature, but we do have our Greasius Orb. We hit it for super effective damage. We're able to hit the Mewtwo for super effective damage. We may be able to pick up a random KO on the Meowscarada. So anything like that's going to be really nice. And then Pain Split, just because I'm a kaiju, or not a kaiju, foreshadowing, because I'm a Giratina Origin. Now, as I was foreshadowing, my kaiju number 8, right, the second mon this week. Gosh, I can't talk. Holding the Chople Berry, Sandstream ability, Dark Pulse, Earth Power, Flamethrower, and Knockoff. 168 in my special attack, 160 in my SPDEF, and then 180 in my speed with a Timid Nature. The real funky thing this week is going to be the Knockoff. I'm hoping to bluff physical. I really am. This is kind of my Petrarunt switch-in. I think we may get a 3-hit KO after Rocks or some kind of benchmark thing from Shadow Ball or Malignant Chain. Now granted, I was tempted to run the Culvert Cloak, but I said, fuck it. I'm going with the Chople Berry, just in case you are some kind of Terraphyte Keldeo. If you aren't Choice Specs, it helps us have a chance to be able to live it, so that would be really nice. We're able to take something like the Vacuum Wave or the Aura Sphere from Iron Valiant a little bit easier. Just things like that, right? CC, all that kind of nonsense. Even a Drain Punch from Electros, as odd as that is. So I like the Knockoff to kind of bluff that I'm physical. I'm hoping that I can get this in on something like the Petrarunt or even the Electros, and I go for the Knockoff. Either they bring in the Magmar and they get the Flame Body off on me. If I can bluff that, that's going to be huge, because if I get any chip damage, if I go for the knock and they go Fortress thinking they can eat it, Flamethrower immediately picks up the KO. It doesn't matter if they're max SPDEF. So really like that. Talked about Anaconda having a coil, being able to hit it on the special side. Dark Pulse is just a great stab against my opponent this week. Being able to hit the Mewtwo, the Petulant, the possible Terra Ghost Anaconda if they want to go that route, the possible Terra Ghost Keldeo. And then Earth Power, again, just solid neutral. It allows me to maybe not go for the 50-50 in some ways. Maybe I don't want to go for the Flamethrower because they haven't teared the Keldeo yet, and Earth Power still gives me a pretty solid way to hit the Fortress as well. So really like Kaiju number 8, and most importantly it gives me Sand, because my next mon, the Underminer, holding the Heavy Duty Boots Sand Rush ability, running Terra Flying this week with Earthquake, Shadow Claw, Ironhead, and SD. Terra Fly, talked about Terra fighting Keldeo. I think that's the bring, right? So if I can put this in the right position, with our speed investment, we outrun Choice Scarf Mewtwo, and that's going to be the fastest thing my opponent can bring. So we do have to watch out for like a +2 Trailblaze Keldeo, but anything naturally. Hopefully we don't let Keldeo get to +2 in the first place. So fastest thing on the field, Terra Fly, it kind of takes away the Vacuum Wave from Iron Vow, which I expect. We're still going to be neutral to the Sucker Punch from Meow, Shadow Sneak, stuff like that, but it is what it is, right? If I can get up to +2, EQ just destroys everything outside of Electros, anything outside of Terra Fly. Shadow Claw, again, just a way for me to hit the Petulant. They could be some kind of Shookaberry, and I doubt they're Kasi Berry on the Petulant, truth be told. So I think that's nice. It allows me to go for the Mewtwo and the Petulant play, Iron Vow. Could be Air Balloon even on the Petulant. I think that's why I throw on the Shadow Claw, being able to hit that thing for super effective damage and not just be SOL if they are Air Balloon. Ironhead, they've got the Vow. Realistically, they could be some kind of Terra Fairy on the Anaconda or the Keldeo. It's just good solid stab, right? Let me get +2, let me catch a flinch. That's all I ask for. Defensive piece of the week is going to be my Terra Poison Vodka, running Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Psychic Noise, and Healing Wish. 68 in my HP, 252 in my defense, 100 in my SpDef, and then 88 in my speed with a bold nature. Talking about how Fortress is the only form of hazard control on my opponent's side of the field. I want Rocks Up. I want any little chip damage that I can get, especially if you are going to be a Terra Fly. Being able to force that, and even if you're Boots, right? Well, there's some knowledge. I know you're not Choice Specs. I know you're not Choice Scarf. I know you're not that random plate or whatever. So Stealth Rock's just going to be nice. Break a Sturdy, get consistent chip damage on a Petulant, do a little bit of damage on the Vow so the Shadow Sneak can pick up the KO, so T-Tar can pick up a KO, stuff like that. Psychic Noise is really nice because it hits Petulant for super effective damage, but also anything that wants to try to get up behind a sub. Talked about Keldeo maybe trying to set up a sub on Alamomola if they bring it. So being able to neutralize that is going to be massive. Also hits the Vow for super effective damage. The Meowscarada, it doesn't hit, but we do have the U-Turn, which is nice. And then Healing Wish, we're bulky. We have our Citrus Berry. They have a lot of knockoff users, so we may not be able to get our Citrus Berry prop, but if I could Healing Wish up something like my No Face or my John Wick or something like that, just going to be appreciated this week. Now my designated lead of the week is going to be my Choice Scarf Ogerpon. Define ability, knockoff, Ivy Cudgel, U-Turn, and Spikes. 252 in my attack, 4 in my SpDef, and then 252 in my speed with a Jolly Nature. So if they are booster speed on Vow, obviously we're going to be outsped by that thing. But Choice Scarf, I kind of expect the Meowscarada to lead. A lot of people that draft Meowscarada lead Meowscarada. So being able to get a super effective U-Turn and Oko at turn 1 would be massive. If they outspeed me, so be it, right? Either they go for the Axle or they go for the U-Turn. Even if they go for the knockoff, right? We'd be able to live the knockoff and be able to see what they are and hopefully pick up a KO still. They would just be Terra Dark, so probably not, or not Terra Dark, but just Dark type, so probably not depending on their investment. But we get Insight. Outside of that, could see Choice Scarf Keldeo coming, right? It outspeeds the Zamazenta. Maybe you just said, bump it, I'm going modest Choice Scarf instead of the Fist Plate. And being able to get a jump on that thing is going to be huge. Realistically, if I can wear down the Petulant, if I can wear down the Fortress, Ivy Cudgel is kind of free, right? It hits a lot for some solid damage. We've got the U-turn for momentum, and then spikes. Again, depending on what my opponent brings, if I could get a spike up, that could make the world of difference. And then my last one is going to be John Wick. Holding the Rusted Shield, Dauntless Shield ability. Crunch, Substitute, Body Pressed, and Rest. Very straightforward. 16 in my HP, 24 in my attack, 252 in my SpDef, and then 216 with a Jolly Nature. Running enough speed to outrun Jolly Meowscarada. Max SpDef, it allows me to get up a sub in front of the Petulant because I do expect the Max Bold, and Shadow Ball does not break my sub, right? They could be Nasty Plot, but if I go for a sub, as they go for Shadow Ball, I can just continue to crunch. I force them to take a good bit of damage, right? We hit them for super effective. They could be Goldberry Berry, they could not be. So we could get a defense drop, and then at that point, you know, they can't just keep clicking recover. They're gonna have to force their hand and go for the Shadow Ball. Or maybe I do pin them into a position where they do have to click recover. I'm running a little bit of speed on my Mesprit, as I said earlier, and I would be able to outspeed the Petulant, right? A little bit of speed creeping there. So if I force them into recover and I go for the Psychic Noise, depending on what HP they're at, that could pick up a KO in itself, or just prevent them from being able to recover the next turn. So I'm able to get something else in, pick up a KO. Body Press just bops, just straight up bops. Rest is there specifically for the Flame Body Magmar, so if they do like to bring it, I go for the Body Press and I get burnt, I can just go for a rest and maybe bring it back in. Even if I get a rest up, I can go for the Healing Wish with vodka and then bring it back in. So overall, I really like my team this week. My opponent's got a very top-heavy draft, and top-heavy drafts always hit hard as fuck. So fingers crossed we can continue our little winning streak we got going on, hold our first seed, and, you know, hold it down for the underground. All right, I will catch you guys in the match tomorrow. Peace.